Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is all your latest breaking news and the topics on the table today, people. No one wants Jadon Sancho. Poor lad. No one wants him. We're going to discuss that. The shittest tug of war possibly ever made for him between Chelsea and Manchester United. We're going to talk about the striker targets because there's been a couple of new names added to the list, a couple of youngsters on there, which I want to get Sam's opinions on. We've got Ugarte, who's done an interview with Andy Mitten, I believe it is, and we've also got some quotes from Rasmus Hojlund on there as well. So quite a diverse show today, covering multiple topics. You know, that's just what we do. We're very talented over here on Real Red Talk. Sam, how are we? How are we doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't describe the Sancho as a tug of war. It's more of a push of war, isn't it? It's you fucking have him. No, you fucking have him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one wants to pick up the rope.
No.
That's where we're at the minute. No one wants to do that. Let's kick it off with that then. Look, we know the situation with it at the moment. I was looking into it before. So obviously the initial loan agreement with the United for Sancho was an obligation to purchase the winger permanently if Chelsea finishes 14th or higher in the Premier League this season. The agreed transfer fee ranges between £20 million and £25 million, based on final league position. I think there's a couple of intricate details in there as well. But obviously, we've seen reports at the minute that Chelsea might try and pull out of this deal somehow. But obviously, they're then going to pay a substantial financial penalty for doing that. But I haven't seen a fee disclosed. I don't know about yourself in terms of how much that would be, right? So. Yeah. What do we do with this situation? If they decide to send it back and pay us, we've then got a player, Sam, on £350,000 a week. Might be a little bit less because of Europe. We're out of Europe, or might be back in it. I don't know at this point. But yeah, that's a situation we don't want, that, innit? Another player returning like that.
Yeah, it depends. I suppose it depends how much the fee, like the penalty is. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's 20 odd million or something, we could take that and then sell him to somebody else. Like,
does that go directly to United? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know where it goes.
That's what I mean.
I've seen stuff where it goes to the Premier League. I've seen where part of it goes to United. I don't understand the full ins and outs of what the deal is, and obviously we probably are never gonna know. Like it's always gonna be like an internal thing. So yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like, how bad does a transfer have to go where a loan with an obligation happens and it's not a big price? And even the team that took him don't want him. Like, that's madness. That's madness.
I have to be honest. I can't think of a time where a club's done that.
No.
Genuinely, I can't think where there's been an obligation to loan and they've gone, actually, I know it's an obligation, mate, but we'll just pay the fucking fine instead. We'll pay 10 million because we really don't want him here. Was it you before we put in the WhatsApp that Chelsea have 89 players on the books?
89 players. So including the ones that they've already signed and agreed to come. So like Quenda, that other one they've sent, the South American lad. 89 players. Actually, I'll get it up and I'll tell you exactly what the stats are because it is fucking madness what it is. So we have 30 in the first team squad, which is insane because normally it's a 24 to 21 man squad. And then in the development squad, for like the sort of under 21s and the youth and stuff like that, they've got 31. They've got 22 out on loan, and then they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arriving this summer. That's insanity,
mad, isn't it?
How is that? How is that allowed? How are they allowed to do this?
Well, bringing him in, like even you look at the wingers that they've brought in, like João Felix has come in and then he's gone out on loan to AC Milan. Mudryk has just been completely cut out of the squad. Like, I know obviously there's drug test. Yeah, I know there's drug test stuff there, but even before that, let's be honest, he weren't playing much, was he? He was kind of on the sidelines. Raheem Sterling's gone to Arsenal, just hasn't fucking kicked a ball, who we was linked with as well, by the way. Jadon Sancho, that just baffles me. If I'm a Chelsea fan and I see Maresca pushing for this move or Chelsea going for this player, I don't understand it.
No.
Like, that's such a huge gamble for the money that he's on as well. Even like the fee might be a little bit less, isn't it? But even still,
it's an obligation to buy as well. It's not even like an option. Yeah. Like if it's an option, you're like, all right, let's see how he does. If he does all right, we sign him. It's an obligation. So no matter how he does, you have to fucking sign him because you're not finishing 14th. Like maybe they would. I doubt it. But with the squad they have, they shouldn't be finishing 14th.
No.
So there's no way that was going to happen. So it's such a weird. They should have put it as in, if we qualify for Champions League or something. Do you know what I mean? So they like, if they get Champions League, they get the extra money in, and it's less of a financial burden because he's not going to agree to a wage cut, is he, to stay at Chelsea?
Absolutely
like, he's
not.
Going to want similar money. They ain't going to pay him what we're paying him to stay there with the form that he's playing at. Like, it's madness. It's pure madness, this transfer.
I think Random Guy makes a fantastic point saying if they can back out of an obligation to buy, what's the fucking point? It's true. How's that an obligation? It's not an obligation. They don't have to, because they turn around and go, no, you know what? It depends how much it is. I want to know the specific figure, how much they would have to pay.
The penalty has to be bigger than the fee, surely. Because then, otherwise,
it'd be pointless taking it, wouldn't it?
Otherwise, clubs would be like, I'll just pay the penalty then, because it's less than the transfer fee, wouldn't they?
I don't know if it's 15 million quid. It's like, is it worth paying that, or just keeping the player and see if he actually, we kind of churn something out of him?
Chelsea are fucking weird though, aren't they, with spending money? Like, they'll just drop money and then just get rid. Like, Axel Disasi came in, was it last summer, and he's already gone on loan?
Yeah, he's got Villa in it, I think.
Yeah,
he's on loan.
like, he's just like, oh no, I don't need him. Fuck him off. Gone.
I don't know how they keep tabs on these players.
And then they loaned Chalobah out and went, oh no, we need him now. Bring him back. It's just like, what? Why have you loaned him out in the first place then? If you want it,
yeah. It has to be said, the way Todd Bowling Clear Lake, what's going on over there, it's just weird. And obviously they're higher in the league than us, but it just seems like, in terms of how the club's being run on a day-to-day basis, it's just utter madness and confusion there. Like, they're looking at these players as business
commodities,
isn't it? Commodities, that's the word I was looking for. But on Sancho specifically, Sam, he's not had a goal or assist since January. I think Rory Jennings on the fan debate before. No shots on target since December, I think he said. Something along the lines of that. I don't know how true that is, but given his performances. Are you... let's not say surprised, because we've watched him closely for years, right? But was there an element of thought at all in the back of your mind? We thought maybe they might get some out of him at Chelsea.
No, I think I said when he went, I think I said on this show, I said he'll flop and he won't perform, because that's who he is. What I was surprised about, like, another loanee, Anthony, I did not expect that to happen. That surprised me. That was definitely a surprising. What's happening?
That's good for us, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it's fantastic for us. Like, it adds to the price. But yeah, I did not expect that from Anthony. With Sancho, this is exactly what I expected. Yeah. Exactly what I thought would happen, because I've seen him at United for 2.5 years, and that's what we've got, and that's what Chelsea were getting. And I just found it really funny when Chelsea were all hyping up the fans, going, "Oh, look at him! He's getting assists for us. He's balling. Like, what a player!" It doesn't last long. It doesn't last long with him. It's in like sours, and that's what's happening at Chelsea right now. What's mad to me is they've spent all this money on wingers and forwards and stuff like that, and they still have Sanchez in net, who is an absolute catastrophe. That's mad to me. That is mad to me.
Yeah. The whole. I mean, it's so bizarre over there. The reality with Chelsea at the moment. I know we've got our own problems like we touched on, but yeah. Speaking of problems, you mentioned Anthony there. Not a problem for us, because he looks like, with the way he's going and the way he's performing at the minute, you would expect at least a couple of clubs to be kind of sniffing around it. If he's putting in performances like that for Real Betis, there's got to be some clubs who are like, you know what, I'll 25, 30 mil, I'll chuck something at that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how they're going to sort the wage situation out, but we've heard reports from United that they're confident they can invest really well this summer, especially if players like Marcus Rashford and Anthony are sold on as well. Now, the 4 names that we're being linked with, Sam, in the striker position, and this is really interesting. I've given my take on this already, but I want to ask you about it. I can't say this guy's name, so I'm going to butcher it. I really try. Ekitike, I think it is.
Ekitike, I think it is.
It's hard to say that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ekitike. So there's Ekitike, who plays in the German league. There's Benjamin Sesko, who we know all about. Victor Osimhen and Victor Gyökeres as well. And anyone who's just joining in the chat as well, out of those 4 options, let us know who you would go for and why. Let's do it. Yeah. 4 options there, so it's perfect for a poll. Ekitike, Benjamin Sesko, Osimhen, and Victor Gyökeres as well are the 4 names that's being linked with us. Like I said, I've got my own thoughts on it. But yeah, talk to me, Sam. Who, out of those 4 players, who would you go for specifically, and why would you go for that player?
The sort of ones that jump off the page for me are Gyökeres and Osimhen. They're the 2 that sort of like I go, that is 2 proven strikers who are ready to go and would probably come in and smash it. Now, Gyökeres will come in because he's familiar with the system that Amorim plays. Obviously familiar with Amorim, so he's played with him before. So he could slot right in, fit into the system, doesn't have to train up, doesn't have to learn, and can hit the ground running, and we're good to go. And he's not young either. He's 27, so he's in his prime. Like, he's not a young player that you have to bring in and develop next to Rasmus Hojlund. And Rasmus Hojlund can learn off of him as well, which I think is positive for everybody. The negative for that is he wants to play Champions League football. So unless we win the Champions League, win the Europa League, that is, I don't know how we do that deal. Osimhen, another really good experienced striker, absolutely balling it at Galatasaray at the minute. Did it for Napoli as well. Obviously, he's not going to go back there for various reasons, falling out with the upper management and stuff like that. However, I think the fee is going to, what is the fee, like 70 million, 65 they want in Napoli? I think his wages are going to be quite large, I'd imagine. So there is that. Is he going to want to come with no European football? I know at Galatasaray, are they in the Europa League, Galatasaray?
Yeah.
So he's got European football. So I'm like, I imagine he's going to want European football, if not Champions League football. So there's that problem. Sesko is, I think, in a similar boat to Hojlund, maybe a bit more proven. He's a young striker. What is he, 22, 23? Sesko? So it's like, are you just bringing in two young strikers there? And it's just like, what do you do? Like, how do you work that one out? I would prefer an experienced striker. Ekitike, I don't know much about him, if I'm honest. Like, I haven't seen him play. I haven't watched him.
Well, let me tee you up on that.
I've heard the name flung around quite a lot, but I've never seen him play.
So, in 38 games in the German league for Frankfurt, he scored 19 goals and 8 assists so far this season. He's a big lad. He's for his size as well. You think about, like Isaac, for example. Yeah. Quite big, but he's still rapid, right? Still very, very quick.
Sesko's big as well, isn't he? He's a big lad.
Sesko's a big lad, but I think Ekitike, from scout reports that I've read and bits of things, because I have to be honest, I haven't watched him much myself as well. It's just a ball, retaining the ball and keeping hold of it and bringing other players into play, which I think in Amorim's system is important at certain times. Whichever way you're setting up, that's what he's really, really good at. And there's a lot of clubs who are looking at him at the moment. And United, seeing that name, us being linked with him, I'm like, this is kind of the box clever signings where it's like, it's not an obvious name, but it's someone who's, like kind of peaking a bit
on
just
the
at
rise.
the minute. And it's like,
on the rise,
yeah. I think he fits into that. But Sesko's another one as well, isn't it? Like, you look at his performances for Leipzig, the way he's been playing for Slovenia as well. Yeah. There is a player there. I've been convinced of that for
100%,
years.
100%. But with Ekitike, like, if it is like random guy says in the chat, Isaac type striker, like the way Newcastle went after Isaac, I know they paid quite a bit of money. Was it 60 million they paid for him? From Sociedad, and now he's probably one of the most complete strikers in the league. I'd argue.
Best in the Prem for me.
Like, he's insane. So if we could jump on, if Ekitike is that next one off the lot, who's going to be that next type of guy, we could get the jump on everybody. Maybe it is so, because we saw City go to Frankfurt and get Marmouche. He's hit the ground running. Looks like an excellent player. Looks really, really good. Maybe there is like that. Maybe that's the next one, Ekitike. I'd have to have a look at him, look at some of the stuff and the way he plays and that. But yeah, from what you say, the stats look good. And if he is that type of striker, I think that could be exactly what we need. How old is he, Ekitike? We know.
Young. He's a young lad. Yeah, he's 21-ish, somewhere around that. I think. I mean, I'll double check that in a moment, but I'm pretty sure. So you've got the main things about them, rather than you can talk about them as individuals and how they play for the team, but two of them are in their pomp, kind of 26, 27 in the prime. You kind of get what you give them with them. If they was to arrive, you'd expect them to hit the ground running. Is there an element of risk with the Sesko and Ekitike? I hope we don't sign him just so I don't have to say his name all the time, because I can't fucking pronounce it properly. Is there an element of risk with those two coming in? Because we've got Hojlund, we've got Xerxes. These are young lads, right? Do they not need a bit of experience coming in?
Yeah, that's the argument, isn't it? Is like, are you just signing another Hojlund who's going to have to get used to the league, get used to the system? Is he going to have moments like Hojlund has where he doesn't score for 12? Was it 12 games he didn't score for? Was it Hojlund, or is it more?
Probably more at this point, 20 games, I think.
Was it 20? Yeah. So it's like, you can't have two strikers at a club who are not scoring. Like, you can't have that. Like, because we've seen what's happened this season, how we've struggled with goals and stuff like that. Can't have that. So we need a striker who's going to come in and he's going to get minimum 15, 20 goals. Have to have that. And I think if you want that, you're going to have to pay a bit more and go get the experienced striker. Not that I don't like Ekitike and Sesko. I think they're going to be really good strikers, but it's a risk, man. It's a definite risk. It's a big risk, and if it doesn't pay off, we're going to suffer during the season, and then you're going to have to go out and pay more money to get another striker again. So yeah, it's a risk.
Well, Sesko on his release clause is 60 million euros, and it could go above 80 million euros if certain conditions are met. Obviously, he's very close. He's talks with Arsenal. United have been scouting him for ages. But he is one that you look at. I mean, 17 goals, 6 assists in 36 games so far this season. And he's been doing it pretty consistently, to be fair. Yep. I mean, you go back to last season as well. There was a lot of talk about him, which was the reason why I think his agent was at Old Trafford and Emirates. Yep. 18 goals, 2 assists in that season. Like, he's delivering on a regular. I think this is what clubs want to see now on a regular basis. They don't want one season, buy him, bring him, flop. They want to see, okay, he's done it for quite a few years now. We could probably take that step up. But I think it's interesting.
That's when people were saying, like, Boniface and people like that. It's like he's done one season where he's done really well. It's just like, let's see the next season and stuff like that. Same with that Garassi as well. Like, it's one good season. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I like Sesko a lot. I think we could. Funny enough, I think it was Andy Mitten who wrote about, or maybe Laurie Whitwell. They wrote an article about all the missed opportunities with certain players, and we could have signed Sesko for 2 million. Is it Malmo? I think.
Crazy, isn't it?
That 2 million, and we were haggling over it because we were only to pay 1.1.
Yeah, I think it was Laura who mentioned that. I remember him talking about that, and I was like, "Oh my goodness me!"
For fuck's sake, like, what is wrong with our club? We're haggling over £1 million. It's 2 million. Just fucking pay it.
Hindsight's an easy thing, though, isn't it? I think to offer a bit of balance, it's easy to look back and go, "Wow, look at him now." But there's probably other players, I'm guessing, where we have been offered and we turn it down. It's like, okay,
50 million. He's absolutely fucking tearing it up for Atletico.
Yeah. But hopefully you're expecting now, like, look at Heaven, who we just bought for £1 million. Looks like a player, right? And you think £1 million. He's already, if he finishes the season now, obviously he's had a big injury, but had he continued playing for us in the first team at centre, you're already fucking quadrupling his value, like, just by him playing those games, right? So that was a smart investment, and I want to see more like that. Random guy saying I want Gyökeres, but Ekitike or David are the most likely to be signed. Charlie saying need Champions League to get Gyökeres or Osman. I don't know with Osman. I think Osman just wants the demands. I think he wants to play in the Premier League, and I think he wants the wage demands that he's got at Napoli, so 190k a week, which is more than warranted for someone of his caliber, in my opinion. Yeah. Look at who we pay above 200k. Anthony Mount, I think that's a fair wage for Osman, Sam.
Yeah, if it's a striker who's clinical, is going to come in and score you 15, 20 goals. Happy with that. I'm happy with that.
All day. Pat May saying Sancho being a flop was always going to happen. Watch Rashford go to the same way. They're two of the kind with terrible attitude. Why is Chelsea paying Sancho's game out and game in if he's such a flop for them? I feel the whole rip-up stuff is just something to stir United fans up. He is a flop. I've watched him a lot for Chelsea.
He's not shot and he's not scored. He's not had assist in like 15 games.
He does nothing. He ball rolls the ball a little bit. He'll do a little stutter and go back. Chelsea do that quite a lot. If you look at him, watch him at the moment, they are a boring team, man, especially when Cole Palmer's not in it.
Palmer fallen off as well, though, didn't he? The last 3 or 4 games. Palmer's not been at it. I don't know if he's injured or not well or something, but like, I imagine he's looking at that 10-year contract he signed and going, fuck's sake, man.
Yeah. Dan saying Sesko because I can easily pronounce his name. Cracking shout, love that. Ekitike is an Isaac-type striker, can link up rapid, can use both feet. Delap is also on the list, by the way. Him and Ekitike look to be favourite. I've not heard anyone mention Sesko in a long, long time. Trust me, Sesko's in the mix. I can guarantee you that.
He's always been on United's list, Sesko.
Always. Scouting for years.
He's always been on that list.
We need a clinical striker for that. I'd go with Osman. If we had Wilcox back, then we would have all the players. Lumen saying big up. Team 99 saying need some experience, please. And Lumen saying Osman will be a Pogba 2.0 attitude-wise. I don't see that personally with Osman. If I have gun to my head right now, out of all them 4 options, if it's like you can definitely get one nailed on with no complications, Gyökeres for me. Yeah, because I think the transition period will be much easier because he's worked with Amorim before. He's the exact same price as Victor Osimhen, pretty much 65, 70 million quid. He'd probably be on less wages than Osimhen, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he has played in England before. He played for Coventry. So he has played English teams. And
Championship is a physical fucking league. Yeah.
He has played English football before, so he's aware of how it works.
Yeah. In an ideal world, I think that's the one who I would go with. But who do I think we're going to sign? I think it'll be more of a low budget one, to be honest with you. But then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, because when you're hearing stuff like this, like, oh, we're gonna spend quite big in the summer, and I'm like, okay, interesting. But is that you never know what to believe with United. You don't know what to expect. I don't have a clue.
They always brief, don't they? We got no money, like
Yeah.
blah, 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 and then we end up spending money. So I don't know. I think it depends on if we can get the out. So if like Anthony goes, if Rashford goes, Sancho, God knows what happens with that. But if he goes, you got Ericsson coming off the books, you got Lindelof coming off the books. If you could somehow shift Casemiro and get those wages off,
That's the big one, I think.
If that frees up so much more money where you can go out and sort of start spending and get these players in and retool this squad. But it's all dependent on the outgoings. If we don't get the correct outgoings, we're going to struggle, I think.
Yeah. Random's just said, I watched the Chelsea versus Arsenal game. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea bid 70 million on Garnacho. Do you feel like the offers will come back in for him in the summer?
It seems like it was all in January. He's definitely going. And then everything's died down. And then since he's started on the right, he's been quite good, hasn't he? He's been quite effective. So maybe Amorim's rethinking, going.
Are you rethinking?
I think I need to see more. Like, obviously, this system is in its infancy, and we haven't got the correct players. But the players that we have sort of like brought in so far have worked. Like De Ligt, been excellent. Ugarte, been excellent. Heaven, been really good. Dorgu, in the small amount of thing, has been fantastic. Lenny Yoro, when we've seen him, has been really, really good. So if we can get a couple more people like that, bring him in the summer, and then Garnacho, maybe we could get something out of him. He's still young, man. He's 19, like 20. He's still young enough to develop and change his game and stuff like that. It's just his attitude, I think, is the worry. That's his problem. Like the social media posts and that kind of stuff. That's what does my head in with him. But if Chelsea came in with 70 million,
INEOS aren't turning that down, are they?
No, they had to turn that down, I think.
I think I think it's all on the coach for me, because if they go, Ruben, we've got an incredible offer for Garnacho. Do you think you can bring someone in who would suit that system more and be more well-oiled? Or have you found that right kind of balance now with Garnacho on the right hand side? I like him on the right. I have to be honest. I think he's very direct as well. He's one of the players who will just run at players and cause them problems. Obviously,
it terrifies defenders when they run it, when people run it and they don't know what to do.
You saw that Sociedad defender was backpedaling, like nearly falling over when he set Bruno Fernandes up. But Ahmad's another one as well, who's that one player you give it him and they're relentless. They will just keep running at that defender. And we don't have many players of that. So if you're going to sell him, you've got to reinvest that money properly, and it has to improve the team.
Because he's an academy prospect as well, it's 70 million. That's pure profit. So you basically can spend 140 million on players. So that doubles your sort of like profit on that. So you could get in 2 players theoretically for that, 2 top class players. So you could get another 10 that's going to be perfect for that. And then the rest of it could go on your striker. So you could retool the squad 2 for 1. So it's all a game with this PSR and FFP. It's a fucking minefield in a game going, if I sell him, I could get 2 of these in, and it's a lot of chess, man. There's a lot of I don't envy the way they have to operate in this system.
I would keep an eye on Garnacho going into the summer. I really, really would. But let's see what happens with him. We're going to stick with South American talent, Sam. Manuel Ugarte has been speaking to good old Mr. Mitten, speaking about kind of differences between leagues, speaking about individual players and his time at the club. And we'll kick off with the quote about the biggest difference between, obviously, he played at PSG in League One. And he was talking about the difference between that and the Premier League, the pace, the intensity. It's much more intense in the Prem. It's end-to-end. League One is much slower. Do you think it almost surprises players how much? Because even with managers, right? When managers come, they kind of... I remember Ragnick speaking about teams near the bottom and how everyone can give you a game. It is the most toughest competitive league in the world, isn't it? By a margin as well, I would probably suggest.
There's a reason why all the money is in the Premier League, because it's the most exciting league to watch. It's where the best players are, and any team can beat any team in the league. Like, it's not in like La Liga where it's the top 4 and then the rest of them like that, or in the Liga where it's like PSG, a massive gap, and then you like Lyon, Monaco, people like that.
But you know what about the French league, Sam? There's a lot of players that come out of there that are unbelievable.
Really
talent.
Really good. Yeah, but in terms of team competition, there isn't. There isn't.
And the money's just dried up on it completely.
And the same with Bundesliga. There's like Bayern, Bayer Leverkusen, Dortmund, and then there's the rest of them in there. Like, it's just. Whereas in like the Premier League, on a day, Brighton can smash City, Bournemouth can beat Arsenal, like people like that. Like that doesn't happen. Like I'm trying to think. Borussia Mönchengladbach are not going to be regularly beaten by
Yeah,
Munich
you'd
in the
expect Bayern to
Bundesliga.
spank them 4-5-0,
Yeah.
like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, like Levante are not going to smash Real Madrid every single week. Like it's just not going to happen. So that's the difference. The competition in the league so much so harsh and so fierce. That's why that top four is always a race. There's always a different team trying to sneak in. Like at the minute, like you've got Forest in there.
Forest.
Nobody expected that. Nobody had that in the cards. You'd never see like Rayo Vallecano getting into the Champions League spots in La Liga. Not happening, is it? It's Atletico, Barca, Real Madrid. That's the top three. Like that's what's going to happen. It's just them fighting it out. So, and then you spoke about the pace. We've got some of the quickest players in the league. We've got some of the most physical, massive units, quick and stuff like that. Yeah, I can imagine a lot of players who come from like a slower league come here and go, Jesus Christ, this is insane. And
Wake up call, right?
No wonder we have so many injuries like across the league. Like because the amount of games we've got and the intensity it plays at. Surprising now we don't have more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because Ugarte himself struggled to adapt a little bit, didn't he? When he first came in under Erik Ten Hag, there was a good few weeks where people were like,
wrote him off.
Not sure. Which you should never do with players. I mean, you should learn that. Not to write him off straight away.
Your mate wrote Xerxes off, calling him
Jonathan
Walters
from Stoke.
Now he's like one of our best players.
Yeah,
like
He's on form.
Takes time.
But Ugarte goes on to say he's happy at the club. He says we're not in a good position, but we are on the right track. We are now stronger and more consistent on a regular basis, which I would agree with. I think he's probably correct on that. We are starting to see better performances now. What have you made of him? Because I think it's been very quiet on him, hasn't it? I don't think like he's not really a media darling, so you don't really see much about him in the media. In a game, It's ironic because he has a lot of volume on the pitch, but he isn't loud. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like you don't really notice him. He just kind of gets about, doesn't he?
He gets about, does his job, breaks up tackles, gets on the ball, and then gives it to like a Bruno.
Yeah.
Gives it to like someone to do the "There goes my light" every fucking show. He just gets on with it, and I think that's there's always these underrated players who do their jobs, and you never really appreciate or see it. Like Michael Carrick was one of them. People was like they don't notice him in the game, but if you go back and watch Michael Carrick, how integral he was to that team and how much he impacted that team, he's a phenomenal player. So yeah, there's a lot of players like that where you don't notice him, but the impact when they're not there. Do you remember when he couldn't play and he's suspended for a game and how badly we missed him and how badly we noticed in that game? Like there's so much like that. So yeah, he's super important. I'm just gonna change the light.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm interested to get everyone else's thoughts on Ugarte as well, because when he first came in, there was a difficult period. I think during the December, January, when we had some really tough games against like Liverpool and City and Arsenal, he really stood out in them. He seemed like a big game player, which was always a criticism attached to him when he was at PSG with Luis Enrique. He wouldn't really trust him in the big games, which I always thought was a little bit bizarre, because you need those Ugartes, Valverdes, these players, warriors, physical engines. You can just get about and put fires out. But the thing is with that, you need someone to complement him right alongside him to be the more creative outlet and break the lines with passes. And Bruno, since he's dropped into that role, who he spoke on as well, praised him for his recent performances, saying he feels comfortable with him in the team. That partnership at the minute seems to be working, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know you weren't a fan of Bruno dropping deep originally.
I wasn't.
You weren't a fan, but when I've seen it, like I really liked it, and then obviously he went back into the 10 once with Casemiro and all that sort of stuff. But since he's dropped back in, I think he's been great. I think he's really got involved. He's like almost become more of a leader as well. Like since he's dropped back there, like dictating play, getting on the ball a lot more, like making things happen. And then bailed us out consistently in this team. Like every time we've needed a player to sort of get something or bring us something, it's been Bruno. And yeah, I can't praise him enough. I know we had that show the other day where we just went on about it, how good he's been and stuff like his numbers, and people were arguing with us about it. And it's just like, yeah, the guy is unbelievable. And I really like him in that 8 position. I think it's really, really, I do think we need to bring somebody in just because I think the demand and the amount of games he's playing eventually is going to catch him. So I do think we need to bring somebody in who we can rotate out and give him a rest. Give him a rest at times, because fuck me, him and Mazraoui I've played so many fucking games. Like, we need to rest them, man.
Because the alternative is Eriksen, Casemiro. Now, in fairness to Casemiro, the past couple of games, he's actually been pretty good. He's been okay, and we've adapted there. But long term, there's no longevity in that whatsoever. We were speaking before how they probably want to get rid of him in the summer.
Yeah.
So you need a couple of replacements in there. But this list for the summer is so fucking big. We need so many players, and there's so many players leaving. I imagine there's probably going to be 6, 8 players leaving.
Right, let's do it. So, Eriksen, Lindelof are going definitely. Is a contract up.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of Casemiro.
Yeah. Evans is going as well.
Evans is going. Anthony will probably go.
Yeah. Rashford.
Rashford will probably go. That's 6 already. And then I've seen talks of they want to get a new goalie in. So like there could be that. Tom Heaton. He'll probably leave.
It's one of them in it with him. But how weird is it? Sorry, just because it's triggered a memory in my head. How important Johnny Evans was under Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah.
And we've not seen him at all.
No.
At all.
We didn't see Lindelof until like the last couple of weeks, did we?
No.
Like, Lindelof
just
was
completely outcast. Seen a bit. Shows how tough football can be because he actually did quite well, Johnny Evans, in fairness to him.
Great.
It was that one game, wasn't it, Amorim's first game against Ipswich, where he stepped in and got done, and then just not seen him since.
Like, I think it's because the emergence of Lenny Yoro, who's been really good, and then Aiden Heaven as well. Like, they've been phenomenal. So it's like, how are you going to get in there? Like, it's ridiculous.
Ugarte spoke about Heaven as well. He said very strong, played very well. He's ready to go. It's such a shame about him. I'm gutted he got that injury.
I hope it's not as bad as it looks. I really do. I hope it's just like a strain or something like that. It's a couple of weeks. Because if he's out for a couple of months, like it's going to be gutting.
Worst time in that, isn't it? Yeah. Like the last thing you want, 3-4 games under his belt. They look really confident. Yeah. That's like windows for players like that are very few and far between. Yeah. And when you get something like that, you got to take the opportunity. And he was seizing the moment.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And he was becoming a regular. He was playing. He was starting. And you're like, oh, okay, all right, interesting. Left-footed as well.
Made some important blocks. Was getting some tackles in. Really good on the ball. Has that line splitting pass as well. Like he was really good. I was really excited to see what else he had. And then just really unfortunate, man. Really unfortunate.
Yeah. Random saying, I love Ugarte. What are your priority positions for the summer? Sam, do you want to go first?
Striker. Has to be. Like, we need somebody to score goals. A right wing back. So we need somebody to complement Dorgu on the other side. An 8. I think I definitely need an 8 in that position. And then I'd probably get a right-sided 10 or a left-sided 10. Somebody who could play in that inside 10 position. Yeah. That'd be my thing. If you want to add another one to that, I'd probably look at a goalie as well. But I don't know if we're going to get 5 players in, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if we're talking pure priorities, striker's number 1 for sure. I would probably put a right wing back at number 2, I think, priority wise, because we're struggling in that department.
There has been talk about, is it Minato?
Bendito, Mantato.
Yeah, so I saw Muppeteers talking about it today, saying he could be pushed into the team before the end of the season. So that might be solved by the end of the year. So
he is a very similar profile to. I don't know if it's specifically very profile to someone like a Kenda, but I have seen similarities and people talking about him.
He's a big lad,
but again, I would. I'd
big
lean more on play like accounts like Academy Scoop for that kind of information because they watch the guy week in week out. So right wing back would be number 2 for me, and then it's like I think centre mid an 8 for sure. Then goalkeeper and centre back. Initially it was centre back, but I've seen, like you said before, with the emergence of Yoro and Heaven and De Ligt, you got Maguire, you got Majrari, you can play there. It's not as much as a priority for me personally. So
Shaw, if he does come back, which I'm not saying
is an option,
he can play left centre back as well. So
that'd be great. If you keep him fit somehow, it's does so much more for you having him there. So like on the ball, defensively, he's just sound. But we haven't seen him for so long. You just can't rely on him at all, can you? Right, let's go into the last story then. Rasmus Hojlund's also done in an interview. Just before we get into the quotes, it was a bit about his gladiator celebration, Sam.
Yes.
But FA moaning about it, saying with like crime in the UK and these kind of things. I'm like, come on, that is a bit snowflakey, that, innit? Come on, give over.
The game's gone, hasn't it? Game's fucking gone.
Yeah, a gladiator celebration. And you're like, fucking give over. You know what I mean?
Didn't he try and do Lewis Skelly as well for doing Haaland?
Yeah, for taunting.
Like,
He
just
did like the thing, didn't he?
like fuck off, man. Like,
Yeah, you want to take all the fun and
Yeah.
tribalism out of football?
Like,
Is that what we're trying to do here?
Everybody loves a bit of banter, a bit of needle between people. Like,
Yep.
there's not wrong with it. Like, I love that shit. I love a bit of shithousery and stuff like that. And Herrera, that's what I fucking hate. Do you know people when they walk around the badge and then the commentators make a big deal and go, "Oh, look at the respect" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just fuck off. Like, and Herrera spitting on the City badge. That's what I want to see. I want to see that.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Tribalism. And I'd expect a City player to do the same as well, by the way.
Like, yeah, I'm not going to get
Bernardo Silva is one of the biggest rats in football. He is horrible. Like, do you remember is it the Community Shield?
Yeah.
Where he snapped Garnacho right towards the end and like tried hurting him. And you're like, look, you don't like it. Like, we obviously don't like him as a player.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. That's what football's all about. Stop trying to fucking take out the game.
It's like when Leacher, when he went into Kyle Walker and then he gets subbed off and Kyle Walker's trying to square up to him. Leacher's trying to come back on the pitch. They're probably like, oh, that shouldn't happen. No, I fucking love that. That's what we live for. That's what it's inject it in me fucking blood. That's what I'm all about. Bollocks. I'm glad they're not doing anything about it because I'd be fucking furious if they did.
Yeah. Agreed. On Man United, he said he's very happy at the club that he's dreamed to play for. He says Ruben Amorim's a cool character. He's a cool person. He likes working underneath him. He speaks about social media. Says don't spend too much time on it. Prefers to spend time with his family, his girlfriend, and he's about to get a dog apparently. Which this is not football related. No. I think actually I know the answer to this question, but just for the benefit of the public and people who are watching, if you was to get a dog, what dog would you get?
I've always been a fan of a sausage dog, a dachshund. Always been my favourite dog.
And what would you call it? I remember
Walter.
Walter is the one.
Oh, yeah, if you want to be proper German about it, because it is a German dog, Walter.
Walter. Imagine shouting that in the park.
This is Walter. Walter, schnell, Walter.
Walter, forgot your bone.
Every time we do a German accent, we sound like the little pigs from Shrek. Every time we do a German accent.
That's my go-to. Someone says, can you do German? I go, I'll hoof and I'll poof till I blow your house down.
Every German accent I do is just a camp German guy. It's never just a regular. It's always a camp German guy.
Really exotic. Pigs in blanket,
yeah.
That's what you got to
do. Let's go to the discotheque here.
Get your favourite dog in the chat if you really want to. On his goal scoring, he said it's frustrating. It's affected him a lot. He'd worry more if it was the other way around. And he said if it didn't work out for me, of course, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying my best every single day. Along those lines, I'm paraphrasing here, but you take the point. He scores against Leicester now, Sam. The international break's almost come at the worst time on it. Yeah.
We're just gaining a bit of momentum. Beat Sociedad, beat Leicester. I know it's a shit Leicester team. I know. But a win's a win, and we scored. How often do we score that many goals in a game? Do you know what I mean? Like we scored 4 against Sociedad and then 3 against Leicester. Like we don't score that many goals that often. So like there was people commenting on our thing. Oh yeah, fucking celebrate. It's just Leicester. I just won't celebrate any wins then, shall I? Just until you dictate this a team worth beating, I just won't celebrate anything. Like, it's been a shit season. Yeah, nice bit of momentum, but it is what it is. Maybe he continues to scoring on for Denmark because I know they're playing Portugal, aren't they? They're playing Bruno's team. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we've got a few Danes, haven't we? Ericsson, I doubt Patrick Dog is going with. I think probably under 21s. I'm guessing.
Is Cheeto going as well?
No, he'll be
Dog
under 21s as well.
Dog is in the main team. I saw.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! No way. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, you've got a bit of a Danish spirit there, aren't you, in the team, which is nice to see, I suppose. Kevin McVelly says cavapoo. I think he means a cockapoo, not a cavapoo.
No, I think cavapoo is a cavalier. Spaniel and a
okay. Sorry, I thought it was just a typo, but obviously I'm an idiot, aren't I? So yeah, I see that. I see that.
What dog would you get?
Now, I have a couple that I like. It's hard to pick just one. Like I love Labradors. I think Labradors are such a good animal. Like good dogs for families as well. I think they're really, really good.
So chill. Like Labradors are the chillest dog.
They're so smart as well. They're like really intelligent dogs. So either something like that. But I like, and I know it'd be a fucking nightmare to have one because I've spoken to people who owned one. Japanese Akitas. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them.
Yeah.
But really protective family dogs, like quite strong. but like molt like fuck. So
I was
yeah,
gonna say they shed a lot of hair, so you're gonna have to be hoovering all day, every day.
Yeah, but you're speaking to a man with like 3 cats, so I'm used to animal hair, I suppose. Right, anyway, weird way to end it, but that's what we're going to do. We will be back tomorrow at a similar time with all the latest news surrounding Manchester United, and we're planning some other stuff for the next couple of weeks in terms of bringing guests on and just filling out the week because it's international break. There's no football on, which means we'll pivot and do separate pieces of content. So yeah, apart from that, Sam, you see us out if you want.
Yeah, follow all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter /X, and then Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky as well, so please do go follow all that stuff. Clips, news, latest bits and pieces, funny videos, and we interact on there. So if you want to drop us a message, drop a reply on stuff, we always reply back. Unless you're a cunt, and then we'll block you and move on with your way. But yeah, drop us a message on there. Come enjoy. And if you're not subscribed, because I checked the statistics, the metrics yesterday, 60% of you watch this content and not subscribe to the channel.
Oh,
what are you doing?
How dare you?
What are you doing?
Cheeky bastards.
60% of you enjoy our content and you watch it and you come back to watch it. You're not subscribed. Just hit that little button. Just hit the subscribe button for us. It helps us out tremendously, and it pushes the channel further. Leave a comment, a like, all that stuff. It helps us out. You don't have to pay anything. It just helps us. So yeah, please do consider.
Yeah, man.
Anything else?
Well, no. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next one.